Hi guys, good morning. Good morning all. Thanks for joining today. My name is Adrian. I'm from Citron Technologies. I hope you can hear me. Hi guys, good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Citron's webinar series. Today, I will be sharing with you how you can set up your own makerspace at home. Hello. Hi guys. Thanks for joining. So today it will be a 30 minutes session, and without wasting more time, let's get right into it. Okay, welcome guys. Again, welcome. Good morning. I hope you had a great morning. My name is Adrian, and today we will talk about how you can set up your own makerspace at home. So let's go through the agenda first on what we're going to talk about, what I'm going to share with you today. First, I'm going to talk about what is a makerspace. And after you know what is a makerspace, I'm going to ask you, what is a maker? What's actually a maker? And then later on, we will talk about the main topic on how you can set up your own makerspace. How are you going to start building your own makerspace at home? And the things that you need in the makerspace. And also, last but not least, I will cover the cost on how much you need to set up your own makerspace at home. All right. So I hope I have enough time to cover all these topics. And if I have more time, we will have a longer Q&A session at the end of this at the end of this session. Okay, so let's go. And again, if you are new here, if you are here for the first time watching this Citron's webinar series, do drop us your questions in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer you when I see your question. And I'm sorry if I have no time, if I miss out your questions, but I will try my best to bring up the questions later. But again, I would like to hear from you, and I will try my best to answer you during the session. Okay, so the biggest question, what is a makerspace? Do you know what is a makerspace? Give it a guess. What is a makerspace? A makerspace is a space for makers, but I don't know what is a maker. I only know what is a space. All right, a makerspace can be anything. So here are some of the few other examples that you have heard of. A maker lab, maybe. A hackerspace, okay, I think I get what you mean. A STEM lab, I know what is a STEM lab. All right, I believe most of the schools around here know what is a STEM lab. All right, STEM lab, a lab for STEM subjects. And then a fab lab. A fab lab is a famous name for a makerspace. It's a fabrication lab, a lab for you to fabricate stuff, for you to build stuff. And then there's a DIY lab. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Okay, if you know one of these, you probably know what is a makerspace. A makerspace is for you to make stuff, hack stuff, build stuff, and also DIY. So I hope you're not confused right now, but you are trying to understand what is a makerspace like based on what you have heard of in the past few years. Okay, don't get confused, as I'm going to talk about what is a real makerspace. A makerspace is a place, right? It's definitely a place because it's a space. A place like school or library or even your home, it's a space. It can be any place actually, all right? A place where people or kids, I'm not referring to those young kids as in adults, teenagers, and even for any ages, all right? We don't really limit to who is allowed to enter a makerspace. Kids get to learn, tinker, build, and invent. So a makerspace is a place, a library, a school where kids, you and me, get to learn, tinker, build, and invent. So get this idea into your head. It's a place for you to build stuff. It's a place for you to invent stuff. It's a place for you to explore and get your hands dirty. All right. It's a very simple definition, and I hope you understand what is a makerspace like, but don't confuse with this space with your home right now, because you are also learning, building, and inventing at home. But I'm going to tell you what's the difference between a makerspace and your home or your home garage right now. A makerspace, like I said, it can be a school or a library, but it's also a communal space. Means it is managed and set up and built by the community, right? By a group of people who are passionate in making things. It promotes collaboration, encourage collaboration between people, because it's a place with everyone around with different skill sets. It encourages people to collaborate with each other to build ideas, to build inventions, to build new stuff. It is also a place with lots of equipment and tools. This means that you don't really have to buy an expensive machine so that you can get to use it for yourself. It's a place with tools that people get to share in that space. And of course, it promotes or motivates creativity and teaches life skills. Life skills like getting your hands dirty, how to fix your light bulb, how to fix your laptop, how to fix your car. All right, a lot of things. These are all life skills that we need and that we are able to learn in a makerspace. So let us compare a communal space with our home makerspace. A home makerspace is more of a personal space for you yourself. You don't share it with other people, but it also motivates creativity and teaches you life skill. All right. When you are in this space, you get to do a lot of hands-on, build stuff, and get to express your creativity yourself. So again, the learning value is still there. It promotes this problem solving and how to say digital making skills. And a personal space is more personalized. It means that you only have tools that you need based on what you want to build. Example, I like to 3D print, which means I will have a 3D printer. I will have some of the equipment that I can use with the 3D printed parts, but I don't need a laser cutting machine just because I like 3D printing. No, you don't need to buy a bigger machine for that. There's a communal space for that. So know the difference. A personal space is more personalized for you based on what you want to build in the space. And last but not least, this is a point that I would like to highlight. A personal makerspace is very therapeutic. Right? It's like your own sanctuary where you crawl into this mini space and you get to be in this space, get your hands dirty, right? You build stuff. While you build stuff, you get disconnected with the digital world, and then you are actually re-exploring or re-renovating your passion in building things. Okay, so I hope you understand the difference between a communal makerspace, a place where like STEM Lab, DIY Lab, with a personal makerspace. Today we will focus more on a personal makerspace. So again, I hope you understand what is a makerspace. My next question is, what is a maker? Okay. I'm gonna be frank, you are a maker. Even you are not sure, even when you're not sure what is a maker, you are a maker yourself. And let me pull out a quote from Adam Savage. Also, Adam Savage is a very pro maker. He is from Mythbuster, and he quoted this: "Humans do two things that make us unique from all animals." All right. Number one, we use tools and we tell stories. Do you agree? We use tools and we like to tell stories. By making something, you are actually doing both. You are telling your story with your invention. Right? So, do you agree that we use tools? Because you can't deny that humans always use tools. Even when you cook in the kitchen, even when you eat your food, You have tools, you have fork and spoon, those are tools. Everything around us revolve with tools, and we are natural makers. So you and I are makers. Okay? The only unique point that why makers today are so different is because of the technological advancement around us. We have the technology that help us make even more better inventions like a 3D printer or a laser engraver. With this technology, the makers today is no longer different. We are able to express our creativity even further. So this is what makes the makers today different with the makers back then. Okay, so I hope you understand what is a maker. All right, it's nothing too complicated. It's you, basically you, but the makers today uses technology to build stuff. All right. One thing I would like to highlight is because I did mention in some of my posts that today you will get into something bigger than this conversation, this sharing. Right? You are actually getting into this movement called the Maker Movement. A Maker movement is actually a celebration of humanity, all right, by building stuff. So worldwide, every year there are people who build stuff to celebrate the people who like to build stuff, and there are a lot of this kind of fair like Maker Fair, International Science Fair, all sorts of science fair that promotes people building things. And uh, so that's why I'm trying to highlight that this is actually part of a movement. If you build stuff on your own way, you are actually part of this movement. Okay, so next question: how to start a maker space? Okay, if you're here and you're wondering what is a makerspace, okay, done. I've answered you that. What is a maker? Done. And now, how can I start a makerspace if I don't have a space? If I don't have a huge space? That's probably what you're thinking right now. Do I really need a big space, an empty room to start a makerspace? My answer to you is no. You only need a space as big as what's behind me, a table size big space, a table size not so big space. Right? With this table size space, you are able to build your own mini compact maker space at home. Okay, so fear not. And of course, you're here not just to build a maker space, to also understand how to actually set up this space. Do I need to know a lot of things? Do I need to be an engineer to start a maker space? My answer to you is no. And to save your pocket, I'm also going to share with you how you can set up it in a budget. All right, how to break down the cost and how to do it cost effectively. So, in this topic, I'm gonna share with you how you can start a budget makerspace at home. So here are some of the things that I have gathered, the things that you need to set up a budget makerspace. Item number one, basic machines. It can be a maker's choice machines. These machines, there are a variety of machines out there. Okay, there are so many machines out there, but here are some of the few key machines that you will need in order to get your technological site active and to so that you are able to express your creativity even further. So the first machine is a 3D printer, and the second is a laser engraver. But a 3D printer is the main machine that you will need in your makerspace. Okay, um, let me take a step back on why people are setting up makerspace and why there's a difference between the makerspace now and the makerspace then. If you look back in the US, right, or in the UK, houses have garage built in where people have tools in their garage and they can always build stuff, right? It's actually part of their life. Building things and fixing things is actually part of their life. But in Malaysia, not so much because we don't have a garage at home. We probably have a toolbox at home at most, and we are not built culturally to learn to fix things, or we learn to throw things and buy new things, but we don't really learn how to fix our stuff. So that's the difference between our culture and the American culture. Um, but what we are trying to do here today is to learn how to fix things, how to break things, and how to tinker with things. And by doing so, we are actually improving the Malaysians' accessibility to tools. All right, I'm talking about accessibility here. Okay? Without these tools, you can't do much. And in the American or in the UK, in the European countries, people have access to tools. They have tools themselves to build stuff, to fix stuff. But over here, our first reason to you is no, I don't have tools. I'm not gonna fix myself because I don't have the tools. I don't have the right tools. I'm just gonna buy a new one. I'm just gonna throw it away and buy a new one. Then that makes us a consumer instead of a maker. We don't really fix stuff anymore. So again, having access to tools is very important, and that is what makes makers. So I'm gonna change my camera view right now so that you are able to take a tour at this makerspace behind me. I have my printer running, my engraver is not running, but I'm gonna show you a bit of all right exciting stuff. So bear with me. Okay. So again, those who just joined, feel free to drop your questions. I will try to answer you. All right. This is already half of our session, and I'll try to answer you as the best as I can with the time that I have left later. So over here, let's take a look. Oops. So this over here, I hope you still can hear me. Okay, this over here is it's my makerspace. Hi, good morning, guys. Thanks for joining. Um, Over here, I have a mini desktop size laser engraver. All right, this is a laser engraver. A laser engraver doesn't mean that it can't cut. It can. It just needs a smaller space, right? Things like uh, a mini gear. All right, you can actually cut stuff. You can actually cut stuff, but it needs to run slower. So this is a battery power laser engraver. See, no wires, no wires, and all I need is to press a button and it's on. All right, you can see the laser shooting here and there. All right, it's a desktop size laser engraver. Okay, I actually engraved my own face here yesterday. I I so over here I have a desktop size 3D printer. All right, it's called Makerspace M1. Again, everything here that I'm showing right now is a compact makerspace. And yeah, this printer is printing something. I'm printing a tweezer right now. See, I'm printing a tweezer right now. So this is one of the functional prints, right? That you can print with a small, tiny little printer, or you can even print a buckle. Okay. This is to show that 3D printer can actually do a lot of things, not just figures like this, tiny little figures. You can build a lot of cool stuff. So I have a laser engraver, a 3D printer, and a filament dryer over here. This is the material needed for my 3D printer. I'm not going to talk more on this, all right, but this is a very compact setup. You can 3D print, you can laser engrave, you can do things in this tiny little space. Okay, someone requested if I can have a closer view of my 3D printer. All right, over here, I'm printing something right now, a tweezer. Okay, so yes, I can move around because this printer weighs around 2 kg. It's very light, and but when it prints, there's no vibration. The whole cover is actually heat sink, so the heat disperses quite well. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about the basic hand tools you need to start. Okay, let's change the view over here. Yeah, let's take a look at the pegboard. Okay, thanks for dropping the questions here right now. I will try to get back to the questions after the tour. But have a look at the pegboard. So this is a pegboard. I got it from IKEA, but you don't really need to get it from IKEA. You can get it from your local wood hardware store. They sell huge, cheap pegboard. Right, the shape is different. It's actually circle, round, but over here, this pegboard is built for mainly for IKEA's pegboard stuff lah. So you can hook. So I orient it in a different way, and here are some of the tools that I use frequently. Things like side cutters, okay, stripper, scissors, pliers, tweezers, and screwdrivers. Some of the measuring tools that I use more often is okay, ruler, caliper, and a set square. And then of course, on the pegboard, why you need a pegboard is so that you are able to access the tools that you frequently use very quickly. And at the same time, when you look at the tool, when you look at the pegboard, you will be able to see what are the tools missing. Okay, it's a very good practice to make sure that the tools are always up here when you're not using them, and when you need it, you can just access it very quickly. And then we have a multimeter and some of the stuff. So over here in the slides that I just shared, there are basic hand tools, measuring tools, electronic tools over here, electronic tools and power tools. So electronic tools like I have this helping hand because I don't have another hand to help me hold my stuff. So I will need this little helping hand caliper to help me hold my components when I solder. And then I have a soldering gun. Okay. Believe it or not, this soldering gun over here is with me for more than 10 years, and I bought it for like 20 ringgit back then, and it's still working. Very effective, very I mean, the equipment back then is very good, right? I only need to get one and I can use for 10 years and it's still working fine today. And then of course I have my components with my storage all labeled well. So again, when you start your makerspace, you don't really need to buy all these tiny little components. It is just items that you build as you progress as you progress learning in making things, right? What I'm not suggesting you to go ahead, buy ultrasonic sensor, buy a bunch of breadboard, buy a lot of switch. No, you don't have to do that. But as you progress building projects, you will slowly collect more and more of this stuff. And in the end of the day, you will see that, oh, you have a lot of things that you can use anytime. Okay, so I believe we have some questions relating to storage, furnitures, safety equipment, stationery, and PC. I am gonna talk a bit on those. So for storage, over here I have this 39 drawer compartment, right? There are a total of 39 compartments, and it allows you to store your items very neatly, right? The alternative for this is actually toolbox, but personally I don't really recommend toolbox unless you need to travel around with your tools. If you don't travel with your tools, get these components, get this drawer, and just keep every tools that you have over here. When you need it, you can access it very easily. A toolbox only means that once you keep it inside, you may not be able to access it, or you may not even remember where you kept it. Okay, so toolbox, and then we have furniture. Okay, over here I have this table. This table cost me around 80 ringgit. But in my opinion, I prefer you use an existing table. You don't have to purchase a new table. Get a table from your neighbor, from your friends. If they have extra table that they don't need anymore, get those tables. As long as it's sturdy, right? It doesn't shake, then that's really good. And then, right, let me highlight safety equipment. Okay, let me change back my screen. Um, okay. Okay. So safety equipment. Safety equipment includes first aid kit. This actually you cannot avoid this. You cannot neglect this part in the makerspace. You really need to make sure that your safety is the priority in your makerspace. You never know when you're gonna get hurt. So first aid kit is very very important. Um, I know most of the household have their own personal safety kit, first aid kit, and that's fine. But if you don't have a first aid kit, it's actually very cheap, around 50 ringgit. Yes, and then you need gloves, and then you need a goggle. When you deal with 3D printed parts, always wear a goggle. But right now I'm wearing a spectacle, so whenever there's small item shooting towards your eye, right, my spectacles blocked it. But if you don't wear spectacles, always wear a safety goggle. And then you will need a smoke alarm or even a fire extinguisher if you run your 3D printer 24 hours, all right, over the night when you're sleeping. So it's always good to have these precautions set in place. And then stationaries, of course. As a maker in a makerspace, you will need stationaries to help you express your creativity. When you have an idea, you don't want to walk around searching for a pencil. You need these stationaries around you so that you can take it, draw, and right, uh, plot your prototype or build your ideas. Okay, and then last but not least in this list is PC. All right, this is one of the biggest issue in Malaysia right now. Um, Students don't have access to computers. Students don't have access to PCs. So how are students going to learn STEM or programming? Right, one of the solution is actually you can get a refurbished PC. It can cost less than 600, around 600 ringgit. And if you are going further extent, you can actually take up a Raspberry Pi PC, right? It can do the basic functions. You can do Zoom calls, you can do Google Meet, and you can also do basic 3D modeling. All right. My criteria for a PC in a makerspace is actually to be able to run 3D modeling software. That's my baseline. If a PC can't run 3D modeling software, then it doesn't help you in your makerspace. So you need this PC to have to be able to run 3D modeling software. I'm not talking about those 3,000, 4,000 ringgit PC. I'm talking about 600, 500 ringgit refurbished PC. You don't need a very powerful graphic cards. My PC, my laptop doesn't have a graphic card and it still runs some of the 3D modeling software. So make sure the PC that you have runs 3D modeling software. And then over here, basic machines. These are the breakdown costs that I got from this makerspace that I have. So the tools that you saw, the machines that you saw just now, basic machines including 3D printer, laser engraver, and a filament dryer, it costs less than 1,000 ringgit. I'm not gonna lie, these three things cost less than 1,000 ringgit, right? With the materials included. So it's not expensive, but out of the whole list of items, this is the most expensive one lah. And then we have basic hand tools, around 100 ringgit or less, and then electronic tools, depending on if you want to venture into electronics and programming, then you will need to spend this amount. Measuring tools, up to 20 ringgit for rulers and set squares. Power tools. So I did mention power tools just now, but I didn't show you what are the power tools. So this is super important. Hot glue gun, right? Even for kids, we use this a lot. We still use this. It's the easiest way to stick things together, and I highly recommend using a hot glue gun. And then I have this uh, handheld hand drill, all right? So you can hand drill things and it's very useful. You don't need to buy those very expensive cordless hand drill, right? Those are expensive, but I would recommend this kind of things so that you can keep it easily and it's very compact in a way. And then we have storage, right? Storage is around 80 ringgit, safety equipment is around 100 ringgit, and stationaries and PC. So a total of 2,300 ringgit, less than 3,000 ringgit, you are able to get everything for a makerspace with extra. Okay. And if you try to upcycle or recycle things that you already have or reuse the things that you already have, you can even save up to 1,500 ringgit. If you already have a PC, stationaries, safety equipment, furniture, and basic hand tools, you get to save more money. All right. So I hope you learn something from this 30-minute session. Okay. I just hit my 30-minute, and let me share a few other details about how we can learn more in our future sessions. Okay. Next week, Saturday, we will talk about what's the difference between Arduino versus Raspberry Pi, which is very important for a makerspace. I didn't really highlight this just now, but to have a makerspace, you will need these two guys. All right, an Arduino and a Raspberry Pi. This is to promote physical computing, to help you learn physical computing, let you learn about sensors, help you build stuff, build electronic stuff. So these are the one of the trends and one of the things that students learn in schools these days. And we will talk about this next Saturday, 12:30 to 1 o'clock, 30 minutes. And on the week after, next week on Wednesday, we will talk about Microbit Classroom Live Demo, which is suitable for teachers and educators. So if you are a teacher or an educator, do join us as we talk about how you can use Microbit Classroom to conduct your classes. And then, of course, we have our own Telegram group. Our Telegram group have two parts. One is the Maker Gathering Telegram group, and the other is the 3D Community Telegram group. So just click into this link or scan to join our Telegram group. And then, yeah, we have our feedback. I'm going to share you the link in our comment section. So if you have time, feel free to drop your feedback in the feedback form. All right. Thank you very much. And I know we don't have much time, but I'm still going to spend 3 minutes with you guys so that you can ask me any questions you want. Please drop your questions right now, and I'll try my best to answer you right now. Okay, so let me scroll back some of the questions that I spotted earlier. Okay. Do we need to assemble the MakerPi M1? No, you don't need to assemble MakerPi M1. It's already pre-assembled. You just need to hook up the Borden tube and then and hook up the filament, and then you're ready to print. It's a very simple printer. You don't need engineering knowledge to do it. No. So yeah, it's very simple. And then okay, next. What is a makerspace actually? So in this video, you are allowed to rewatch this video. It's recorded. I recommend you to rewatch it. I explained what is a makerspace earlier. And then, okay. All right, this is just some sharing which I missed out. Soldering kit, I recommend age 10 and above, right? And with adult supervision if possible, because it's quite dangerous. Once you burn your hand, you will leave a mark there. Same goes to right, hot glue gun. Hot glue gun is also as hot as soldering gun, but when you deal with these hot tools, you have to be extra careful. Okay. All right, come. All right, what modeling software do you use with a 3D printer? So I use SketchUp. Right, I highly recommend SketchUp, but for beginners, I would even recommend Tinkercad for 3D modeling. And it's there's another widely accepted software which is Fusion 360, and it's also free. You can try Fusion 360. It's from Autodesk, and it's also well known among students. So you can get Fusion 360. The tools is quite simple to use, and it's somewhat similar to AutoCAD, but it's less complicated. And the tools are all there for you to try it out. Okay. So I hope I answer all of your questions, and If there are no more questions, okay, if there are no more questions, thank you guys for joining today's session. I hope to see you soon, and thank you again. Do drop your feedback in our feedback form, and I will see you again next time. Bye.